I have a question about identifying one particular person on the list. It's FB Meat. FB Meat. You can just let me know who you are. I can change your screen name.
That would be Frederickson Byron, so applicant Dairyland. And if it's all right, Judge Newmark will have
Okay.
me and the witness here, but if you prefer, we can switch over to
No,
independent.
that's okay. So it's just the DPC's witnesses, attorneys and witnesses. Okay. More people in the waiting room here. We can get started soon. All right, so checking our appearances here. I just had someone we connected that connected to the Dairyland Power CPCN case, the screen name with a screen name of M01138. If you could identify yourself, I'll just change your screen name to your real name.
Good morning. This is Jeremiah. Donor from MISO. I am the M01138.
Perfect, thanks. Wonder if I should remember that from all the other cases, but I'm not sure. That's looks like the waiting room is slowed down here, so it is 10:02. Get started. Looks like all the systems are running here, so good to go. All right, excellent. So let's get on the record. Welcome, everyone. This is Docket 1515 CE 103, the application of Dairyland Power Cooperative for a CPCN to build, I think what we're calling here is the Alma to Blair transmission line project. My name is Michael Newmark, the Administrative Law Judge for the PSC. We're here on Zoom with the parties and commission staff. We've made the connection. We have actually not made the connection available to the public. Public is invited to watch the live stream of the hearing today, which is the PSC hearings live stream. I don't see any members of the public connected to Zoom, so that should be fine. That live stream will be turned into a recording on our YouTube channel, and it'll be the unofficial version of the hearing today, provided for public convenience. Official transcript, the official recording of the hearing will be the transcript that we are making today and will be subject to corrections later on in the process. So did want to note that we, as part of our process, we will be having a public hearing session on Thursday, November 13th at 2 p.m. and then again at 6 p.m. We will be at the town of Arcadia Town Hall. And since we had issued the notice of hearing September 24th up until November 17th, we'll be allowing the public to submit written public comments in the case. Those can be filed on the Commission's website at the link shown here, or by mailing it to us at the address here. And that information is on our notice of hearing. Otherwise, that's kind of the preliminary stuff here. Let's move on to appearances. Get to the top of this list here. So just taking appearances in alphabetical order by name of the entity. So we'll start with the American Transmission Company.
Brian Potts on behalf of American Transmission Company.
All right. And then Dairyland Power Cooperative.
Justin Chasko on behalf of Dairyland Power Cooperative.
It's actually out of order a little bit, but I got it. Okay, that was okay. No worries. All right, yeah, let's do Justin. Okay, excellent. Okay, and Clean Energy Organizations.
Good morning, Abigail Henchek for the Clean Energy Organizations, and I'm here with Amelia Voss, who is also for the Clean Energy Organizations.
Okay, and I'll note that we will be adjusting those organizations to correct the spelling there. All right, thanks for coming. Also, we have MISO, Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, who's representing that.
Richard
Good
Heineman.
morning.
Sorry, I'll start. Richard Heineman for MISO, Boardman Clark.
And also on behalf of myself, I'm Max Meyer, and also joined by Jeffrey Small.
Okay, so who will be speaking today on behalf of MISO?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay. How about the PSC?
Good morning, Evan Whites on behalf of the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin.
And oh, that's it. Oh, it seemed like there was much more more people involved here. Okay, so that's great. That's our appearance list. Gone over the notice as well. So let's move on to offered evidence list. I did want to know there's sort of an elephant in the room here. I wanted to address that before we just do the nitty-gritty on the offered evidence list. It's not, I don't think there's too much of a controversy here, but I did want to highlight for everyone the situation we are faced with today. It may complicate what really looks like a very uncontested case at this point, undisputed application in terms of the parties and the commission staff's positions. But I know there's been some filings in testimony and exhibits that were filed fairly recently, it was suggested on rebuttal, the DPC witness Lens, and then there was a supplemental filing from Lens as well as an exhibit, Lens 1, that dealt with adjustments to the proposed project, the siting of the proposed project. So there is definitely been awareness of this issue, and the applicant has made everyone has provided notice in that form in terms of changes that are being proposed to citing. It was more of in a general way. Now what we've seen on November 7th was the filing of very specific changes to the application document. I forgot to count these, but there's several updates, revisions to the CPC application and the appendices. So just displaying what I've found on IRF, and also a revised version of the application exhibit. So my understanding of that, I don't need you to respond right now, but just wanted to give you my understanding here. My understanding is that with the revised application, those revision documents will be replacing the originals as indicated in that exhibit. But just because there's the bulk of information here going in at a late date, and the devil's in the details. I think we had the sort of overview of what changes may be coming in, but there's all the details now are before us. So I wanted to just highlight that in terms of our process. I do appreciate that the applicant, I'm sure this took a lot of work, And I do appreciate that getting these changes filed and before us, at least before the hearing and in the detail that they're in right now, is helpful. To the extent that, it was possible that the applicant could have waited till after receiving a CPCN and then applying for minor modifications. In the bulk of all these changes may change a decision of the decision maker, whether these would be considered minor modifications or not. So having it before us now is helpful. I think the problem is getting all this information now, all these details in at this point, does raise an issue as to do we have enough time to vet them and make sure that I don't think parties are going to dispute this, but to make sure that staff has an adequate opportunity to review them and be assured that it's complying with and that the commission complies with its environmental review duties now that these changes are being proposed. That's sort of, the issue that's out there. I think when we get to viewing the hearing from the parties, the witnesses, both from DPC and commission staff, it'll be revealed and become obvious whether we have an issue here. My indication from what I've heard, I have spoken with Attorney Whites on this, and it doesn't seem like there's a problem with that. But when we hear from the testimony of the witnesses, we'll flesh that out for sure. I will have a couple questions for the witness about some of the filings. So I'm a little confused as to how they were revised, but I don't think that's going to be too complicated. And I did want to mention, in terms of the filing, and I think we do have a new facilitating matters order that's being used at this point. The old version of that document applies to this case, and I think that using if the new document was applied, maybe we would have a little more direction on these on the situation. But to the extent a party wants to use documents not yet filed during the hearing, really we should be getting those by email and not have them IRFed. That's in the FMO, but in this situation, given the bulk of the changes and the nature of the changes, I guess the parties should have thought about offering this with a motion, a request to supplement testimony. I know the timing was a little fast here, and hopefully maybe in the future, this can just be done with a little more time before the hearing. Also, the parties can request, additional time, hearing time if needed, just so we have the process, we can vet these documents. I think in this situation, parties are, largely in agreement. There's really no contesting parties. I think if we had a case where we had some more controversy and parties opposed to the project, we would probably need to back up this process and give a lot more formal procedure here in terms of whether we could receive these documents or not. And that would include a request to supplement the testimony, thereby giving an option for parties to respond to that request. That would be a useful part of the process. So just in case this happens again, I would consider that more appropriate way of handling this amount of new additions to the record. Having said that, we don't need to. So these documents aren't on the offered evidence list at this point. Just they came in. Well, I can't remember the timing, but came in very shortly before I think I issued the offered evidence list. But we can refer to them. We'll put them in as I think what I was going to do is wait for the testimony of the parties and commission staff, and then if it appears that these are there's no issue with the additional information coming in, then I'll receive it. But at this point, we'll just leave them to the side in terms of accepting them for the record. I also did want to mention for parties here, this is another item that I think the new FMO may help solve, but I did notice when we received the documents originally on IRF, There's a lot of naming issues. I fix these when I need to. Well, when they come in wrong, I either have you refile or I just fix them. I did fix these changes, but you'll see that the naming convention for Dairyland, we had designated the participant identifier as DPC, so you see that change on IRF already. This is way off the mark, so you'll see the new version of that. It says MISO Donner, direct MISO Donner. And then another thing to be careful about is filing. This exhibit was filed as under testimony offered, so it got shifted. Just makes it a little harder for us to manage the case. Also, there's a missing period, EX period, so that changes its location when you search. Those little details, I know they can be picky, but they do actually help us process these cases, keep the documents in track, and make sure we're not missing anything. So I would appreciate everyone sort of paying attention to that in the future. I think the new FMO does provide a little better view of how to do that. So hopefully problem will be solved going forward. All right, so I do have the offered evidence list that I shared with the parties and staff. And like I said, this does not reflect, that was probably sent it out just before I got notice of the new application documents. So we'll receive those when we've heard from the testimony of the witnesses, just to make sure there's no issues with them. But at this point, barring that change, let me just ask, we'll go down the list and ask if there's any errors or omissions to the list. Once we're done with that, we'll talk about any questions about the comments that I've made. So let's start with the applicant then, and we can go off the record for this. Start with the applicant about whether the list is accurate at this point.
We've reviewed it and it appears accurate to us.
Okay, great. And let me just, I asked off the record, Debbie, can you hear Justin? Okay.
Yes,
Okay, seems a little low on my end, but if you're okay with it, then
I have my volume up pretty loud.
okay. All right. So let's see, ATC, nothing, CEOs, nothing. MISO, any questions? I don't think we've kind of handled these documents in previous cases, so.
Yes, Your Honor. I did want to jump back real quick to the service list and just note that Mr. Small wasn't included on the service list for MISO. So just wanted to make a note that he needed to be added there, but the offered evidence list looks correct for MISO.
Okay, yeah, if he was on the request to intervene, I'll put him in. I might maybe not checked all the boxes when I was creating the list, but I'll double check the request. And if Attorney Small is on there, I'll add him to the service.
Your Honor, I've been on every document where Mr. Meyer's name has appeared, so I'm
Okay.
probably just a clerical error.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll double check to make sure. If you're not on the request, then you'll just have to file a request. Okay, so that's MISO. Commission staff, any questions?
No questions on behalf of commission staff.
All right.
I should also add no corrections either.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so any questions about the comments?
A couple brief ones. So was your earlier comment that you had corrected some of the naming conventions? Does that mean for the Dairyland direct, for example, or the Dairyland testimony that we don't need to refile those just to change the party name?
No, internally they need to be changed. So
okay, so we'll file those with correct. Yeah. And then what I understood that request to be just to change it to DPC in the name of the document and the footers, but not necessarily in like the narrative testimony if they refer to Dairyland as their employer.
that's right. And if you're citing the testimony, then you'd want to change it to the naming convention. Yeah.
Very good. Well, understood that. And then should that be designated as revised or just
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the R. Yeah.
I believe that's all we had on that subject then.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we'll just move on to commission staff. There are any questions about the comments?
I jumped the gun earlier, but no questions.
Okay, no, you're good. All right, so that's good. And okay, so I'm trying to make this easier rather than harder. We'll get on the record, and we've reviewed the offered evidence list. I believe I can accept the documents listed pending corrections and verification. I can accept those documents to the record that are listed there, but there will be some additional rulings on the application exhibit that we'll handle at the end of the case. So everything but for the current application exhibit is received for the record. I think that covers it. Okay. So is there any other pending questions or concerns before we take our first witness?
Two questions, or one FYI, I suppose, and one question. So
Sure.
we have some witnesses who are would prefer to confirm their or affirm their testimony by affidavit if that's permissible.
Okay, let's do that. So I think we'll certainly need to hear from witness Lenz, and I don't know if staff has other witnesses they're interested in questioning.
And I
So
have
questioning from staff, Your Honor. I think largely the comments from staff will come through the testimony of the staff witnesses.
Okay. Okay, so as far as you know, no cross?
Correct.
Okay. How about other parties? Other parties have questions for the applicant witnesses? No, not hearing anything. And what about commission staff witnesses? They'll take the stand, I'm assuming. So it's kind of irrelevant. We'll just move on. So yeah, yeah, it looks like if we don't have questions for applicant witnesses, I can I think I did have a few brief questions, and I think Lenz would probably want to will need to introduce the changes to the exhibit. So I'm expecting that witness to take the stand, but otherwise we can excuse the other applicant witnesses and have them verify by affidavit.
Thank you.
All right.
Just one clarification from me then. Ms. Sandry, who's the lead on the property acquisition, we had talked to staff about there are a few landowners who are new in the application exhibit, and so we'd like to provide, if it's permissible and nobody objects, some short testimony just discussing sort of why those landowners are new, and hopefully give some assurance to the commission that there's no issue with the notices provided.
I'm sorry, there's no issue with the
new landowners being added to the potentially affected landowner list at this late stage.
Okay, so you're planning to call Lenz and Sandry.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So I mean, what I meant to say is I can receive those documents by affidavit, but you can call witnesses as you wish. But yes, I think if Sandry has information about the application changes, we certainly want to hear from that witness about it. So thanks for raising that.
Excellent. And then Mr. DeWitt is here in person, and we think he'll be required to come back another time for another project. So we would like to just give him that experience too, if that's all right.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, absolutely.
Now the rest we'll do by affidavit. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're ready to hear from your witnesses. So just call in whatever order you wish.
All right, we'll take Ms. Sandry first.
Okay. So they're going to be with you there. Okay.
And I'm assuming these witnesses are on the evidence list, the offered evidence list already?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
This is Jessica Sandry for the applicant.
Well, then I don't need to have her spell it or anything. Thanks.
Right. Okay. Witness Sandry, I see you there. Raise your right hand. And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Ms. Sandry, could you please state your name for the record?
My name is Jessica Sandry.
And are you the same Jessica Sandry that offered direct testimony in this proceeding?
Yes.
And if I asked you those same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Can you tell the court what the purpose of your supplemental testimony is?
Dairyland recently made changes to the location of certain project facilities, such as off right-of-way access roads, temporary workspaces, and staging areas. Kristen Lenz described the reasons for those changes and the environmental impacts from those changes. These slight changes have led to some changes in the landowners that fall within the project buffer area, requiring notice. I was asked to provide the commission with a little more information about those new landowners.
Thank you. Are any of the new landowners directly affected by the proposed transmission line itself?
No, none of the landowners discussed herein will be directly affected by the new line. None of them are hosting the transmission facilities themselves.
Is it fair to say at least a high level that there are 4 different reasons why a landowner may show up as new in the recent application refiling?
Yes.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to walk through each of those categories. My understanding is that the first group is a number of landowners who show up as new simply because they've bought properties in the project area relatively recently. Is that correct?
Yes.
And at least for that group, the previous landowners of those parcels were notified of the project?
Yes.
Thank you. And what's the second group of landowners?
There are a number of landowners who are newly identified because they fall into the buffer zone for notice, but who would not host any project right away or workspaces.
And what's the third group?
There's a small group of landowners who are new because Dairyland is now proposing to remove a small portion of the lower voltage facility as a part of the project. This work is expected to occur on existing right-of-way, which is on land that Dairyland already has easements to conduct the work. Finally, the newly identified work area is, at least in one instance, on the same property as the lower voltage facilities being removed, which we expect the landowner will appreciate.
And what is the final group?
There's one new landowner who is adjacent to a newly proposed workspace that we are currently using for survey work. The new landowner is a small business entity owned by the same people who own the land hosting the workspace. Those same owners of the new land have agreed to allow Dairyland to use that workspace.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Do we have any cross for the witness?
Just one quick question. Witness Sandry, if you know, could you estimate what is the total number of these landowners, either collectively or in each of those 4 categories?
Just let me interrupt for a second. Can you introduce yourself to the witness, please?
I'm sorry. Good morning. My name is Evan Whites on behalf of commission staff.
Yes, if I may count on my list, I can give you a total.
Sure, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
There are 19 parcels on my list. I would add that there are several of those parcels are owned by the same landowners.
Okay. And do you know for each of those 4 categories that you explained the number of parcels or landowners?
It would take me a second to come up with the totals.
You can do it quickly, otherwise.
Can I ask why, while the witness is counting there, which filing are we looking at? Is it an appendix?
No, it's just a list I had of landowners, similar to the one to the text in red, I guess, on the landowner list. I don't know if I can do this without mapping, actually.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I appreciate the total. Thank you.
Okay, I did want to dig into this a little bit more. It was a question that I thought I was going to address with witness Lentz, but that was my mistake. So thank you for appearing, witness Sandry. I guess I was just curious. It looked like what was being revised here is Appendix D, E, and M are all being revised, and they kind of touch on this question. Appendix E is the mailing list. I'm assuming that's the landowner list. Appendix M is the agricultural impact notice. And I'm sorry, let me go. I think I skipped D. And D is the agency and stakeholder correspondence. And I was just curious, I don't know if you know much about Appendix D. Appendix D doesn't look like it has anything new. The dates there go back to 2024. And if I don't know if you can answer this, but do you know what may have changed? Then I can display this. This is the latest version. So this is Appendix D. It was filed on the 7th, but this may be changed, but the last date of the filings here that are contained here, I think are dated May 9th, 2024. So I'm not sure how that document may have been revised. Do you have any insight on that?
On Appendix D, no, the landowner list that I was referencing would have been Appendix E.
Right, so you don't know. Okay.
I do think Ms. Lenz can answer that question.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, Appendix E then, in terms of so that as well, then the latest version filed on the 7th of November, and you can see the screen share, right? Is that correct? Yeah. Can you confirm for me that you can see it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So in terms of the landowner list, do we know where the changes are? I mean, this would include the number of people that were newly, added because of the revisions. They're included on this list somewhere. Is that your understanding?
I believe that they are the end of each list.
Okay, that's helpful. So, looks like, and they're even is that why they're in red? Is that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, that's a big help. That's good to know. Thanks for answering that. So each route has a list. And then in terms of the people, so people who were removed from the list as well, is that your understanding?
I'm only aware of the additions at this time.
Okay. So I think you mentioned that some people were not going to be impacted anymore, but they're still on the list as far as you know.
I believe that people that would not be impacted would be people where title has changed since the filing of the prior list.
Okay, but you don't know if they've been removed. You've added the new owners, but you may not have, unless it just says landowner.
There may be some instances where they were not removed.
Okay. And can you let me know how were the new landowners notified about the revision?
The new landowners may not have been notified yet at this point.
Okay, why do you sound like you don't know?
I would say not all of the new landowners have been notified at this point.
Okay, is there a notification going out?
We will be making contact with all the landowners. At this point, there's no planned specific mailing or list or there's no written correspondence planned at this point.
Okay. So that's where when we're talking about that, we're talking about, make sure I got this right, Appendix E, the mailing list. Do you know anything about Appendix M, the agricultural impact notice?
I have seen Appendix M and the highlights. I am not as familiar with Appendix M.
Okay. Do you know who would be available to talk about the list?
I believe that Kristen Lenz would be able to speak to the agricultural landowner list.
All right, thanks. And then, so E and M will ask witness Lenz. Okay.
She may also have some additional information on D. I'm sorry, really all three. Ms. Lenz was responsible for supervising all of the final productions of those, so she may have some.
I'm sorry, all of the final production.
Of the application revisions. So
Thank
she
you.
may be able to answer with more specificity the question of whether anyone was removed from the mailing list or not.
Okay, thanks. So I guess I'm done with my questions. Just ask if there's any other party or commission staff want to follow up with Cross based on that. Nothing, any redirect?
Nope.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, well, thanks for the insights, witness Sandri, and I appreciate that. You're excused. Take care.
We'll call Ms. Lenz next then, Your Honor.
Okay, there we go. Just go off the record for a second. So I have someone named Roxanne in the waiting room. Does anyone recognize that as being connected with the party or commission staff? Roxanne? Okay. Oh, they dropped out. Okay. All right, ready to go. Let's get on the record. So I see you there. Let me swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm? Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Ms. Lenz, could you please state your name for the record?
Kristen Lenz.
And are you the same Kristen Lenz that filed direct testimony and errata sheets, supplemental direct and rebuttal testimony, as well as an exhibit in this docket?
I am.
And as we just were talking about with the ALJ, were you also responsible for generally the production of the revised application?
Yes.
Excellent. And if I were to ask you those same questions today, would your answers be the same as reflected in your testimony?
Yes.
Your Honor, unless you'd like me to ask her the questions that I think you had, I think I'll be done and let you run through those.
Okay, well, let's see if there's any other questions from parties and staff. Is any cross? Nothing? All right, so I'll carry the ball here. Probably no one cares about this stuff. That's why. Let's see. So witness Lenz, were you able to hear the discussion I had with witness Sandri?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right. So I think I guess just as the preliminary, well, let's just go through it. So you're familiar with Appendix D?
Yes.
Okay. So with Appendix D, to me, I didn't see any changes that I could recognize as being, a new filing with a more recent date that was filed in the original or the precursor to this revised exhibit. So can you just describe what changed in that document to make it a revised version?
Yes, I believe the last filing that we had of Appendix D was in March of 2025. So the additions were the May correspondence that you pointed out, and that is related to correspondence with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, and the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources related to the Lakes Coulee wildlife area. So there is a wetland mitigation bank associated with the Wildlife Coulee area, and we worked with those agencies to ensure compliance with that mitigation bank, those covenants. So there are some meeting notes, I think, and some decisions made. It's not this one. It's organized by there are different fly sheets in there. It's organized by agencies. It's not in chronological order.
Okay, that's helpful. So it was, what was the topic again? I don't think
Wetland, it's a wetland mitigation bank covenants associated with the Lakes Cooley Wildlife Area.
Okay, and you said that was around what time frame?
The final correspondence was issued in May of 2025.
Okay. And that wasn't included in the original?
No, the beginnings of that correspondence was included, but there was further correspondence to add. The other addition, we updated our it's a desktop consultation with the Fish and Wildlife Service. So it's called the IPAC and DKey that provides you the list of species that may be impacted by the project. That's been updated and provided as well.
Okay, can you just repeat what the name of that was? I don't know if we heard.
I can't remember the full acronym, but
Okay.
it's IPAC, IPAC, and DKey, Determination Key, associated with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for the Endangered Species Act consultation.
And is that a separate part of the application, or that's in this correspondence document?
It's included under the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service fly sheet, that correspondence.
Okay, and any idea what the time frame of that one was?
I want to say March 2025, but I'm not certain if that's the correct date.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully we can track it down if we need to. Okay, thanks. So that's Appendix D. Let's go to Appendix E. So I did have some questions. Witness Sandra was able to answer where the new people were listed on this revision. Do you agree with that description that she gave us?
Yes.
Okay. And then computer's going slowly now. And I guess she wasn't quite certain if people were removed from the list who now have no impacts. Do you have any information on that?
Yes, we did not remove anyone from the list, only additions.
Okay. And in terms of this list, were the additional landowners notified in any way? At this point?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And do you understand that there's any plans to, can you describe any plans to notify them at this point?
No, I'm not aware of any plans at this point.
Okay. And I think that's all I have for that one. And then for Appendix M is the agricultural impact notice document. That is also just been revised. Can you describe? Sorry, computer is actually literally sticking. I don't know how that happens. Okay, there we go. And I didn't ask you if it looks like, I mean, I can see you looking at the screen, but you could see the screen share, right?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. So Appendix M, what changes are in this document that's causing it to be revised now?
Yes, there were changes to the impact numbers for agricultural impacts for both the northern and southern route. So we updated the tables. And in addition, there were landowners added to the list. Those are highlighted. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Those are highlighted in yellow.
Okay, great. So that's the question I really had. And were any landowners removed?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, and then were any of these landowners contacted about the revision?
I'm not sure by Dairyland.
Mhm.
I believe DATCAP, Ms. Bayfield from DATCAP may have initiated some correspondence with landowners.
Okay, but no, as far as Dairyland's concerned.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And any plans? Does Dairyland have any plans to contact the new landowners on this list?
I'm not aware of any official plans at this point.
Okay. All right, I think that's all I have. Just check. Oh, yes, there's just a couple of other questions about the filing. So you were involved with filing all the revised portions of the application that Dairyland's offering now for the record, is that right?
Correct.
So I was just curious about a couple of the filings. They don't seem to be tied to an appendix. And what I'm assuming when I see revised appendix, the entire appendix is being refiled and it's replacing what was offered previously. Does that make sense to you?
Correct. Yes.
And then there's also a version of the sort of what we call the application in chief, the narrative version of the application. I think that's also being replaced in full. That's correct.
Yes.
Then there's a couple of documents that seem to be, I don't really understand, are they pieces or they seem to be tables? Like for example, this one, it's called Revised Application Project Costs Table, Section 4.0. Is that, where would that be put into play here in terms of replacing or revising the documents for the application?
Yes, this one refers, there is a table in section 4 project cost. This is just the Excel version of that table that's provided in the main body of the text. I believe staff has requested that in the past.
Okay, and the same answer for this revised table 7.10-1?
Correct. There were no changes to that table, but I don't think we provided the Excel in the past, so we added that.
Okay, all right, great. I appreciate you just explaining that for me. All right, great. Okay, that's all I have. So thanks for working that through. Any cross questions based on what I've asked? Zoom is all covered up with other things here, and I'm not seeing anyone. Any redirect?
Ms. Lenz, you mentioned Dairyland updated the endangered species review. I'm sure that's not the exact correct term, but you recall what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And just to be clear, that there were no new endangered species or threatened identified.
There was one new species identified, I may not say it right, the Eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. It was not.
I'm sorry. Tell me the name of it again.
Eastern Massasauga rattlesnake. Just
Thank
don't
you.
have to spell that. It's not due to project changes. It's due to additional information that the Fish and Wildlife Service has on that species.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
And that new information would be found where in the revised?
It is included in section 9 of the application, and you would see it also in appendix D.
Okay.
It's under the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service fly sheet. Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. All right. That's all we need then. So thanks very much. You're excused.
Your Honor, Mr. DeWitt is our last witness
right.
we'll take in person, but if it's all right, I'd like to confer with him briefly on the notices question that you've been asking.
That's fine. Let's go off the record.
Thank you. We are ready if everyone else is. Thank you.
All right, let's get on the record. And who are you calling this time?
This is Clay DeWitt.
All right. Sorry. See you there. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. DeWitt, could you please state your name for the record?
Yeah, Clay DeWitt.
And Mr. DeWitt, did you file or cause to be filed direct testimony and an exhibit in this docket?
Yes.
And if I were to ask you those same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
Mr. DeWitt, were you able to see Judge Newmark's questions of Ms. Sandry and Ms. Lenz?
Yes, I was.
And you recall that he asked some questions about Dairyland's plans, if any, to notify the new landowners that were identified?
Yes, I did.
With respect to landowners who will host work actually on their property, for example, in the area of the removal of the Q18 line, will Dairyland notify those landowners before that work commences?
Yes. Yes.
And but for landowners who are not going to host any particular facility or work area or right-of-way access, is Dairyland currently planning to do any special notice to those landowners?
Currently, no, because they're in the buffer zone, so they're not directly impacted by facilities.
But if the commission required some sort of notice to those landowners, would Dairyland do so?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, no further questions.
All right, thanks. So any cross for this witness? No? All right, thanks very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move on. Commission staff.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just real quick question before we start with commission staff. Was MISO going to verify by affidavit or?
I don't know. I don't think I confirmed that. Yeah, let me check. Yeah, what's the intention for MISO? Do you want to verify by affidavit? I don't think there are any cross questions for this witness.
Yes, Your Honor. If we can use the verification, that would be preferable for us.
All right, sounds good. Okay, thanks, Attorney Whites, for checking me there. Okay, so let's hear from commission staff witnesses.
All right, we'll just go right down the order. So first, we would call witness Biefeld to the stand.
Okay, see you there. I'll swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Kirsten Biefeld.
And witness Biefeld, by whom are you employed?
The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
How did you become involved in this docket?
I was the main author on the agricultural impact statement and prepared the exhibit and the direct testimony.
Just my next question. Did you file or cause to be filed both direct testimony as well as that agricultural impact statement exhibit that you just noted?
Yes.
And has DATCAP been notified of the proposed changes recently submitted and reviewed as noted by the applicant? Have you reviewed those updated agricultural impacts?
So following the publication of the agricultural impact statement 4594 on October 29th, 2024, the applicant has re-notified the DATCAP agricultural impact statement program twice. The first time was on December 31st, 2024 to notify DATCAP of changes to the project staging areas, in which DATCAP determined with landowner feedback that the new agricultural impacts did not necessitate an addendum to the AIS at that time. DATCAP was notified recently a second time on November 5th, 2025. A initial review of the latest project update shows an overall trend in lowering permanent right-of-way proposed for both the northern and southern routes, with a greater reduction on the southern route. Notably, as discussed by Dairyland witnesses, the project does pose to impact a few new agricultural landowners, with some permanent right of way, but mostly temporary impacts associated with both routes in the form of staging area, workspace, and access road. At this stage, the AS program is still reviewing the updated agricultural impacts and reaching out to newly impacted agricultural landowners to determine if there are areas of concern that would, again, potentially necessitate an addendum to agricultural impact statement 4594. With that, a letter with DATCAP's determination on whether an addendum is required will be provided by the end of the year and submitted as a post-hearing exhibit in this docket.
Based upon your initial review of the project, does that change your overall opinion regarding the project?
At this time, DATCAP has not found evidence of new agricultural impacts that would alter the recommendations that were provided in the direct testimony. These recommendations include that the PSC, the commission, consider approving the southern route over the northern route due to impacting significantly less agricultural land overall and taking less agricultural land out of farmland preservation programs, as well as the recommendation that the commission require the applicant to hire an independent monitor with consultation of the commission, DATCAP, and DNR, and that the selected independent monitor complete DATCAP's standard agricultural monitoring form for transmission line projects that's described in the direct testimony.
Thank you. With those clarifying comments on the recent revisions, are the statements and representations in your direct testimony and previous exhibit true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And do you have any additional additions or modifications to your testimony or exhibit to make at this time?
Not at this time.
Thank you. With that, the witness is available for cross.
Any cross-examination? Okay, I did have a couple clarifying questions for you, Attorney Biefeld. Witness Biefeld. You did really well with those answers. Maybe that's why. First of all, I'm looking at this is Appendix M, the revised version from the applicant, and just want to double check you can see the screen share.
Yes.
Okay. So just wanted to check, you said you will be contacting the new landowners that were identified by the applicant, and looks like on Appendix M, those, sorry. There we go. New landowners, as far as we've learned today, the new landowners are highlighted in yellow. So those are the additional landowners you'll be contacting. Is that right?
The current plan is to contact specific landowners with areas of specific concerns that we have, which is currently 2 of the landowners. We have not reached out to them yet, but that landowner would be the Mark A. and Sherilyn K. Knoll Revocable Trust. And then, sorry, I'm trying to find my other one, the Jacob Bellinger landowner.
Okay. And they're new landowners that would be provided, the information was provided to you by the applicant as additional new landowners added to the list. Maybe you don't know that. Is that right? They're new to the list, both of those landowners?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, and in terms of the agricultural impact statement, so we do have the current version on Earth. The current version will be received into the record as attached to the DATCAP AIS exhibit. And I guess I'm just curious as to how DATCAP would propose, or what its normal practice would be. So we have the original impact statement and the appendices. Those are offered for the record now. If you need to provide additional information, would that be an additional document, an addendum, or would you be replacing what's here as the original? Would you be replacing the full version of the impact statement?
Would more so depend on what we find by the end of this analysis. I would say we don't have a formal process in-house for this, but considering the impacts that I have seen and the project updates overall, I'm assuming it would be more of an additional document associated with the AIS.
Like a supplement?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure we all know what we're going to expect. And then if you had so if you have no changes to the AIS, depending on your investigation, then we'll see a letter be filed that states that there's no changes necessary. Is that?
Yes. So whether we determine an addendum is required or not, we will submit a letter that would describe that and then would clarify the process that would go along if it was determined addendum is required.
Okay, just should have been listening more closely. And so the letter itself will come in before the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay, and then if there's a supplement that may come in later, then it'll come in after the letter.
Yes.
Okay. Any idea what the time frame might be if you go through the full process of supplementing the document? What the time frame of getting that document submitted would be?
I will say I haven't gone through this process yet myself since I've been in my position. It's a very rare process that if we've had to create an addendum. My gauge for timeline, with what I've seen so far, I'm assuming we could get both accomplished by the end of the year, but I'm not certain on that.
Okay, fair enough. So I'd say what I'd expect from you then is when you do file documents, the supplement and the letter, not really sure how you file these documents. I guess I'll leave it up to you what IRF document type you want to call it. I mean, it could possibly potentially just be correspondence. That would work. But more importantly would be we'll need to see a revised version of your exhibit, just linking the additional documents. Once you're done with everything and it's all on IRF, then you want to file a revised DACCAP AIS exhibit. And we'll also need you to file a verification affidavit related to those additional documents. So once that's in, I think we all know what we're expecting to see here, and we're teeing this up right now. So I don't think we're going to need a request to file supplemental testimony or evidence. So there won't be a formal, process to object to the additions. But if it doesn't reflect what we're expecting to see, I guess there may be complaints about that. Don't think that's going to happen here, but just to streamline this a bit, if you file the revised DACCAP exhibit and along with a verification affidavit, that should be good to go for the record. So I don't know if we're looking at if we're looking at this filing by the new year. I don't know if commission staff may have something to say about the timing of the case, if that's something that's going to throw off our process, or is seeing something by the end of the year, or I don't know. I mean, do you have any? I'm not sure what the statutory deadline is.
I think that should be fine, Your Honor. I think the statutory deadline for the commission rendering a decision is March, if I recall correctly. It may throw off the briefing schedule a little bit, depending whether anyone wants to, incorporate or file, but I would anticipate everyone kind of has notice of what this looks like. So if there is something surprising after the fact, perhaps, the parties could file some sort of request for a supplemental brief or something like that if there's some earth-shattering revelation. But from what's described thus far, it doesn't sound like that's going to occur.
Okay, great. Well, given the unlikelihood that we'll need to see further process, we'll leave it at that and just have the parties request something if necessary. So thanks. All right, I think that's all I had. So any other cross based on these questions? And any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, great. Didn't stir too many pots up. That's good. All right, so thank you, Witness Biefeld. You're excused.
All right, next, commission staff would call Witness Kraft to the stand.
Okay, see you there. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Andrew Kraft,
And what is your position with the Public Service Commission?
environmental analyst and historic preservation officer.
Could you briefly describe how you were involved with this docket?
I did the historic properties review for Wisconsin statute 4440.
Okay. And did you file or cause to be filed direct testimony?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the revisions to the project recently submitted by the applicant?
Yes.
Do you have any comment on those revisions?
Yes. The updated application indicates that the project could affect 2 new human burial sites. The applicant would need permits to disturb those sites from the Wisconsin Historical Society. Other burial sites are discussed in the EIS and the application, and the applicant would need to follow the same process it committed to already for these additional sites.
Thank you. With that additional clarification, are the statements and representations in your direct testimony true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And do you have any additions or modifications to make to your testimony at this time?
No.
With that, the witness is available for cross.
Any questions? Not hearing anything, so thanks very much. You're excused.
Next, commission staff would call Dr. Grant to the stand.
See you there. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Daniel Grant.
And what is your position with the Public Service Commission?
I'm a public service engineer.
Could you briefly describe how you were involved with this docket?
Yes, I did the ProMod program review as well as an analysis of the net benefits of the proposed project.
Did you file or cause to be filed direct testimony in this docket?
Yes, I did.
Are the statements and representations made in that pre-filed direct testimony true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any additions or modifications to make to your direct testimony at this time?
No.
With that, the witness is available for cross.
Any questions? No? Thanks very much. You're excused.
Next, commission staff would call witness Coble to the stand.
See you there. Raise your right hand. And do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is William Coble.
And what is your position with the Public Service Commission?
I am a public service engineer.
Could you briefly describe how you were involved with this docket?
I reviewed the reliability analysis performed in this docket.
And did you file or cause to be filed pre-filed direct testimony as well as 2 exhibits?
I did.
Are the statements and representations in that direct testimony and 2 exhibits true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
They are.
Do you have any additions or modifications to make to your testimony or exhibits at this time?
I do not.
Thank you. The witness is available for cross.
Any questions? Hearing none, you're excused. Thanks very much.
Commission staff would next call witness Pullman to the stand.
And there, raise your right hand. And do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Olivia Pullman.
And what is your position with the Public Service Commission?
I am an environmental analyst and review specialist.
And how were you involved with this docket?
I was the environmental review coordinator for this docket, which was responsible for preparing the EIS, or environmental impact statement.
Did you file or cause to be filed pre-filed direct testimony as well as that environmental impact statement document that you just referenced?
I did.
And have you recently reviewed the applicant's proposed changes to the project?
Yes, I have.
Could you briefly summarize any changes to environmental impacts based upon that review?
Overall, the impacts are of the same nature as the originally proposed project. One of the bigger changes is the need for an increase in the total number of structures, but this also reduces the number of places along the routes which expanded right-of-way would be necessary. There are also a number of places in which temporary workspace for removal or off right-of-way access roads were added or altered, including near the Alma substation at the beginning of the proposed line. The upland forest impacts associated with these modifications increased slightly for the northern route and decreased slightly for the southern route. Some of these areas occur on public lands, and there would be a slight increase in the upland forest impacts on public lands, mostly on the City of Alma property near the Alma substation. There would actually be a decrease in the impacts to the upland forest on the DNR Lake Cooley Wildlife Area. There would be some shifts in the impacts to managed forest law enrolled properties, but the totals overall would slightly decrease for both routes. There would also be modifications to the total impacts to grasslands. The impacts to grasslands associated with additional temporary workspace for removal, and off right-of-way access roads would increase slightly for the northern route and decrease slightly for the southern route. The impacts to grasslands on public lands would increase by less than an acre for both routes. The impacts would lessen on the DNR Lake Cooley Wildlife Area and increase on the City of Alma property. There would be changes in the impacts to the different types of agricultural lands. Overall, for all types of agricultural lands, the total acreages impacted would decrease by small amounts for both routes, but increase by small amounts for staging areas. The center line was not modified, and therefore the number of residences and distance to center line did not change. Due to the reduction in places where an expanded right-of-way was necessary, the number of agricultural buildings within the right-of-way decreased from 3 buildings to 2 buildings on the northern route and decreases from 2 buildings to 0 buildings on the southern route.
Did anything about the applicant's proposed changes in your review cause you to change your ultimate opinion of the project?
No, the impacts are largely decreases to affected lands with few small increases for access roads and temporary workspaces. I do not consider these changes to be significant and would note that they largely reduce the long-term impacts to various land types.
And with those additional notes regarding the proposed revisions, are the statements and representations in your testimony and exhibit true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any additional modifications or corrections that you would like to make at this time?
I do not.
The witness is available for cross.
Any questions? No? Thanks very much. You're excused.
Commission staff would next call witness Rademacher to the stand.
See you there. Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Excuse me.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Jury Rademacher.
And by whom are you employed?
By the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources.
How did you become involved with this docket?
I serve as the DNR PSC liaison for this project. I'm also a technical expert in terms of impacts to waterways and wetlands, and I wrote the waterway and wetland sections of the EIS.
Did you file or cause to be filed pre-filed direct testimony in this docket?
I did.
And do you have any corrections or modifications you would like to make to your direct testimony at this time?
I do. In my direct testimony, I indicated the project would not require compensatory wetland mitigation under Wisconsin State Statute 281.36, as the permanent wetland impacts would not exceed 10,000 square feet. In my review of the additional project or the project revisions filed by the applicant and preparing for the hearing, I discovered that testimony is only partially true. The northern road as proposed would exceed 10,000 square feet of permanent wetland impact, and that's based on the wetland boundaries established by the conservative desktop review method. However, should the commission approve the northern route, the applicants have committed to do wetland field delineations to refine the wetland boundaries. The actual impacts based on the refined wetland boundary and the final project design may reduce the overall wetland impacts to permanent wetland impacts to under 10,000 square feet, in which case wetland mitigation would not be required. If the permanent wetland impacts still exceed 10,000 square feet, the applicant would be required to comply with the requirements for compensatory wetland mitigation found in Wisconsin State Statute 281.36. Excuse me. Thank you.
And Your Honor, just for a note, the statement I believe that witness Rademacher was referencing is on page 13 that you have pulled up there. The question
Correct.
starting on line 13.
Line 30?
13. Sorry.
13, yes.
Page 13, but line 13 also?
Both 13s.
Thank you.
Witness Rademacher, have you reviewed the recent project revisions submitted by the applicant?
Yes, I have.
And based upon that review, are there any changes to your overall opinion?
Although the project revisions do result in changes to the amounts of regulated wetland impacts, forested wetland clearing, and the amount of temporary clear span bridges over navigable waterways, my overall opinion regarding permittability under Wisconsin State Statute 30.025 has not changed. In my opinion, the revised project is permittable under Wisconsin State Statute 30.025.
With those additions and notes that you just provided today here at the hearing, are the statements and representations in your direct testimony true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And do you have any additional modifications or corrections to make at this time?
I do not.
Thank you. The witness is available for cross.
I just had a clarifying question. I don't want to keep you here too long. Get some hot tea and honey.
Yes.
The statement that you gave us that supplemented your direct testimony, that change to the compensatory wetland mitigation issue that occurred after you filed the direct. The new information you got was after you filed the direct. Is that correct?
No, when I filed my direct, the project, the northern right would have still proposed 10,000 square feet of permanent wetland impact.
Oh, okay.
So the revised project did not change the requirement for compensatory mitigation.
Okay, so it is a correction to your direct.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, I mean, I can take your opinion on that, Attorney Whites. I think we'll let the direct here stand as it is and just go with the correction on the transcript. Is that, or should we revise that direct filing?
That was my intention, Your Honor, because it came to light as witness Rademacher was reviewing the recent revisions. So it wasn't until recently that the correction was discovered. So in the context of how it was explained, I think that certainly rounds out the record and clarifies that previous statement.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Okay, that's good. All right, so any cross questions for the witness? Okay, thanks very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
Next, commission staff would call witness Ron to the stand.
See you there. I just want to unmute. I can do that from my end. There you go. Test that up. Oh,
there we go.
There we go. All right. Okay, I'll swear you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Paul Ron.
And what is your position with the Public Service Commission?
I'm an environmental analyst.
How were you involved in this docket?
I prepared sections of the EIS in Chapter 5, sections dealing with agriculture, land use plans, proximity to residences, EMF, and aesthetics.
And did you file or cause to be filed direct testimony?
Yes, I did.
Are the statements and representations made in that direct testimony true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Do you have any additional corrections or modifications to make to your testimony at this time?
No.
Thank you. The witness is available for cross-examination.
Any questions? Not hearing any, so you're excused. Thanks.
Next, commission staff would call witness Ripke to the stand.
Hi there, raise your right hand. And do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
My name is Mark Ripke.
Could you state your position with the Public Service Commission?
I am an environmental analysis and review specialist.
And briefly, how were you involved with this docket? What areas did you examine?
I contributed to the environmental impact statement to Chapter 4 for general construction impacts of long-range transmission projects, as well as sections of Chapter 5, which included invasive species, public lands and recreation, airports and airstrips, communication facilities, and electric distribution facilities.
Did you file or cause to be filed pre-filed direct testimony, as well as 2 exhibits?
Yes, I did.
And do you have any additions or modifications to make to your testimony at this time?
Yes, I proposed order conditions on pages 7 and 8 of my direct testimony regarding oak wilt, and I would like to add a 3rd option for condition language to align with order conditions that the commission has approved recently that were similar. The 3rd option for a condition language would be the following. To the extent practicable, the applicant shall avoid cutting or pruning oak trees during the period of April 1st to July 15th. For any oak clearing activities conducted outside of that harvest restriction period, the applicant shall conduct an oak tree inventory of the ordered route and implement the measures provided in the oak harvest guidelines and in accordance with Wisconsin Admin Code PSC 113.0511.
And just to summarize for clarity, basically the difference between the 2nd and 3rd option you've proposed would be changing the word feasible to practicable in the new suggested order condition you're providing here today.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. With that, are the statements and representations in your direct testimony and exhibits true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Do you have any other modifications or corrections to make at this time?
No, I do not.
Thank you. The witness is available for cross.
Any questions? Seeing none, you're excused. Thanks.
Thank you.
Commission staff would next call witness Rowe to the stand.
Hello, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Do.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
J.C. Rowe,
By whom are you employed?
the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources.
And how were you involved in this docket?
I reviewed this docket for impacts to rare and non-game species and also provided sections of the EIS related to rare and non-game species.
Did you file or cause to be filed pre-filed direct testimony?
Yes, I did.
And have you had an opportunity to review the recent proposed changes to the project submitted by the applicant?
I have.
Did anything about those revisions change your overall opinion?
No, they did not. My opinion stays the same.
And with that, are the statements and representations in your pre-filed direct testimony true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any modifications or corrections to make at this time?
No, I do not.
Thank you. The witness is available for cross.
Any questions? Seeing none, you're excused. Thanks.
Thank you.
And last but not least, commission staff would call witness Trickus to the stand.
Okay, see you there. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Could you please state your name for the record?
My name is James Tricka.
And what is your position with the Public Service Commission?
I'm a environmental analysis and review specialist.
How were you involved in this docket?
I contributed to the environmental impact statement. I drafted sections in Chapter 2 on the applicant's routing and siting process, as well as in Chapter 5 on route comparisons, which detailed requirements for right-of-way, off right-of-way access roads, and laydown yards.
Did you file or cause to be pre-filed direct testimony in this docket?
I did.
And have you had an opportunity to review the recent project revisions submitted by the applicant?
Yes, I have.
Based upon that review, are there any changes to your overall opinion?
As my colleague Olivia Pullman noted, the applicant's proposed changes would impact right-of-way requirements that I did discuss in my direct testimony, and some of the numbers that I listed would be slightly altered, but I do not consider the changes to be significant. And I would note that the net effect of the changes is an overall reduction in permanent right-of-way required for the project.
With that additional clarification, are the statements and representations in your direct testimony true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any additions or modifications that you would like to make to your direct testimony at this time?
No, I do not.
Thank you. The witness is available for cross.
Any questions? Hearing none, you're excused. Thanks.
And I believe that brings us to the end of commission staff witnesses.
Great. And I remembered how to swear people in. I actually forgot last week the language witness. I got a lot of good practice today, so I'm glad. Okay, so it looks like we have all of our documents checked in, and then I'm going to actually make sure we recognize at this point, after I've heard the testimony of the witnesses, I think that the revised application exhibit that includes the offer of the revised filing, the revised application documents filed on November 7th can be received on the record. I want to thank the applicant for doing that work, and also commission staff, especially for reviewing that quickly and making sure that its questions are answered, and there's appears that there are no red flags or open-ended outstanding issues that it's raised. So that's a great result. So we will include the revised application exhibit in the record. So we note that. I also want to note that I did find Attorney Small's request to intervene, his notice of appearance. So I've already included him in the service list now. You'll see, and just for everyone's edification here, if you do want to check that change, if you go onto our case management system in the document, in the docket, in the documents tab, if you push this export active service list, you'll get the new version of the service list, the most updated version that's in our database, and it'll come up, it'll look like this. It's an Excel sheet, and you'll see Attorney Small added into that list. So it's already taken care of. So I apologize for the omission. I must have just skipped over the filing somehow.
I appreciate the addition, Your Honor.
All right, great. Okay, so with that, I know we have a post-hearing schedule already set up, and I believe...
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
One minor note.
I'm sorry, who's speaking?
Justin Shasko from Dairyland.
Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Ms. Sandries had the opportunity to recount the list of landowners that were affected, and I was notified that while she answered 19, that she now believes the answer is 22 new landowners affected. And wanted to at least note that for the record, and offer to bring her back if anybody felt it was necessary.
Okay. I guess would that be reflected in the red letter version of the on the mailing list?
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. That speaks for itself. So yeah, we'll accept that correction.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for adding that. Yeah, so we do have our post-hearing schedule, and like we'll have the draft transcript, corrections available, opportunity to do that will be available. Otherwise, I think we have buttoned this case up. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be in, I don't want to say it wrong, Arcadia, yes, for the public hearing session. And we will continue to receive public comments. And I'm blanking on that too. Hang on. Public comments up until Monday, November 17th, the written public comments. So look forward to receiving those. Oh, and I did want to mention, we should probably note that we will be creating and filing the public comment exhibit. We'll take the comments that were filed during the notice of hearing comment period. So that would be beginning September 24th when we issued the notice, and then up until the deadline in the notice. So I'll review those comments for compliance with what's indicated in the notice of hearing, the standards for public comments. And those will be in the linked to that exhibit and available for the commission to review. Okay, anything else we need to address before we adjourn? Okay, not hearing anything. So thanks very much, everyone. Take care. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.